Live from quarantine, it's episode 21.
The snowboards been waxed and the chocolate is hot. STEEPCAST reporting to you live from the top of Mount Blanc. Snow missed me, making you miss me. Cause I'm hucking it up 12, I throw it into a misty. I'm a hunter, knuckle huck.
Welcome back to the STEEPCAST, and let's jump into some news. Our snowboard knuckle huck qualifiers are this weekend and the finals will be next weekend. The dates and times are on the screen right now. They will both be live premieres on our YouTube channel, so be sure to join us in the chat. Speaking of the Tartiflette Games, our real ski competition has been announced, so check out the video for the full details. Submissions will close on June 21st, but we have already received a few entries, and oh boy, this one's gonna be fun. Head to nickandmitch.com/realski for all of the information. And last on my list, Steep is currently sitting at 49.9 thousand subs on YouTube. So congrats in advance if you hit it by Wednesday. If not, I know it will be soon.
Yeah, we are all patiently awaiting that glorious 50,000 subscriber mark. That is a huge step for Steep and a huge step for the entire community. And speaking of community, Check My Steez 8 will wrap up today at midnight Pacific time. We will be awaiting the winners of that competition and the location of Check My Steez 9. That information typically goes up on the Reddit page every Sunday, so be on the lookout and we will be sure to mention it next week. And finally, the Steep World Tour came to a close on the 24th. If the winners are announced before this is posted, they will be on the screen right now. But regardless, congrats to everyone who got a chance to compete in the finals. And now it's time for the Reddit Roundup!
Wow. Okay. Well, our first Reddit Roundup submission this week comes from Yo Soy Casas, and it is called Sled Jumping. This may be the biggest drop I have ever seen on a sled. I don't know if I've seen that one either. It looks like a 90s graphic, kind of like the weird TV, and the cow costume too. Gotta love it. Biggest drop I've seen to date on the sled.
This next one comes to us from Steep Clips Germany, and this might possibly be the longest nose drag I have ever seen in the game. Of course, we had some help from our friends over in the slow motion department, but still, what an incredible find to catch the lip of this hill and drag that nose till the cows come home.
Thirdly, we've got a video from Jaketh the Snaketh with a knuckle huck off the main jump in the X Games DLC. Just drags the back tips off of the knuckle. This was one of the spots we considered, but it's not quite as good as the one in Japan.
This next screen grab from Dater10 takes my breath away. Those clouds, or whatever that is in the background of this picture, remind me of Hawaii. And the sunset, all of it has a tropical vibe to it, but I know darn well that this picture was taken in the freezing cold. But this is a wonderful use of lighting up on the mountain, getting that awesome silhouette on your rider right in the center of the frame. Props to you.
And finally, from I'm Tyson, we got this picture. Made me laugh when I first clicked it open. I just love that Watchdog's mask with the grinning face, and of course the pink black crow skis to match.
Thank you to all of the Redditors who let us use their content this week. And for the main topic coming up in just a second, we're going to show you why it pays to be a part of our Discord channel. You know, while we're all sitting at home doing nothing, scrolling through all of those apps that we thought we would use all of the time, all of those games on our phones we thought we would play every single day, but we haven't touched in 6 or 7 months. Why not download or join something that could actually be a little worthwhile to the other things that you're doing? I am talking, of course, about joining our Discord channel. This is a wonderful place where all of our friends from the Nick and Mitch community come together and we all rip the videos apart once they're posted. I'm kidding.
Well, there is that, but we also have some wonderful conversations throughout the week about anything. We also have specific channels where you can submit weekly challenges, submit your outfits for some review, post some of your steep fails, steep memes. Right now, Kerr's running a best looking wingsuit in our Discord, And I even made a food channel so you can post about what you're eating, including pictures.
All around, this is a wonderful way to meet new people that all share a shared interest, and that's this game that we're talking about right here. So, what does this have to do with our main topic? Well, right before we sat down to record this week's episode, Mitch posted a question in the general chat, just asking for some questions, some things that we could talk about in the Q&A section, or if one really stood out, as a main topic. And Stefan did just that. He came through with some wonderful questions and gave us enough to provide not only the main topic this week, but our Q&A section. So thank you to Stefan for that. Let's dig into that first question.
He asked, would Steep benefit from having an immersive equipment stat system? Something like where you can use a jib snowboard in the parks to rotate really quick and butter easily, but it would suck in powder, or something where it can maybe handle the deep powder better, but be worse at tricks, something like that.
Now, I know we've discussed this before because we got to experience something kind of along these lines when we went to beta test Road to the Olympics. We were absolutely blown away when the developers allowed us to ride on the different snowboards and skis that were offered specifically for the Olympic challenges. Now, all of these different skis and snowboards all function differently, so you're not going to go compete in the downhill with your big air skis or your big jump skis, and vice versa. But we were allowed to experience how they would handle on the mountain compared to the stock snowboards that we get in the game that are pretty much all identical. So this is a long-winded way of saying we have experienced being able to use different snowboards and different skis that function in different ways on the mountains, and we both fell in love with it. I wish that they could have done more with those Olympic sets because it opened up totally new windows of opportunity for the game. So yes, I am all on board with having specific snowboards and skis for specific things.
I would really like to see some sort of system like this implemented in the game where you can choose the right tool for the job. So if you are in a park and you want to go for the big spins, the big grinds, the butters, then you can pick a park snowboard. But then if you are cruising through Japan, hitting the powder, then you need a different style board. Wouldn't jump as easily, but it would allow you to carve better throughout that powder. At the same time, it would also be good for them to have an all-purpose board, which exists in real life, thankfully. They have an all-mountain ski, all-mountain snowboard. So for people who are just starting out and don't quite know what to use or what to do, they can just start off with the stock snowboard. And then as they kind of get into a specialty or just learn about them, then they can pick one of those.
Oh, for sure. I don't think they should take away the stock skis or snowboards for, like you said, a more beginner rider who's just looking for an all-around, I'm just going to go play for an hour and see what happens. So you don't have to keep switching out your gear every single time you want to find something else. But like you said, to the effect of going to Japan and going to the X Games are two completely different things and require two completely different skill sets, and having the right tool for that specific job is kind of crucial if you want to push this game forward beyond where it is already. And on top of that, the game offers you multiple skill sets that you can build off of. Are you a freestyler? Are you a free rider? Are you an extreme rider? All of these different disciplines can be reflected with equipment suitable for that channel, if that makes sense. I just think that would add a whole new level of immersion and identity of who your character is in the game and how you experience the mountain.
It would almost add some more individuality to everyone too, or almost an identity where when you watch a montage or watch some trick videos, you could kind of pick out who it was based on their riding style and of course what snowboard and outfit they're wearing, but seeing kind of what tricks and what boards they're using for certain things would then get into which board's best for certain challenges, which board's best for other challenges. Maybe someone wins with a completely different board and then throws the whole game upside down.
So let's take it one step further. Let's go a little bit weirder with it. We're getting into a Bandersnatch kind of situation here. Every single different type of board, do do you think it should have its own specific set of tricks that you can do on that board? Or do you think if you pull a powder board out, just like a cruising board, do you think if you hit a jump at the right angle, you should be able to make it work like a slope style board, like a park board? You know, yes, it is much more difficult to complete it on that different board, but you still can complete it on that board? Or do you think they have to be two completely separate things and we're looking at 4 or 5 different boards that all have different trick sets in them? I mean, I'm salivating at that thought right now just for the Tartiflette games. Could you imagine having 5 different board styles, each with, I don't know what, 125 set tricks that could be done on that board? That would be madness.
I think you should be able to use any board for any situation, but they're going to perform differently based on which one you were using. There are like freestyle snowboards out there that have a more soft edge design, kind of curved up, so that it's not going to catch itself whenever you're on a rail or trying to butter on the edge of a jump. Whereas a powder one kind of has to cut through the snow more, so it's going to have a more aggressive edge. But if you're trying to use that heavily in the park, at some point you're going to catch yourself and fall. And one other thing I thought of, there are some powder boards that actually have a V-tail on one end. Well, you've probably seen them, but I mean, it's impossible to butter on that thing. You cannot ride goofy once you're on one of those boards. So that would definitely change up if you were in Japan cruising through the powder, then you hit a park. That cuts out some tricks that you can do on that board.
It would be a treat and a half to see how this idea would play out on the mountain. I mean, if we're going this far and adding all of this to the game, we might as well add some new sports, right? I'm talking specifically about that snow ski or snow scooter thing. It's like the 3 skis and you sit on it. It's like a tricycle frame. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I did. Where are you going with this?
I just think that is the perfect tool for me to be able to enter a Check My Steez competition. I don't have to worry about falling over. I can just ride it down like a bike the whole way.
I think that's going to be your first Check My Steez entry, is you just walking down the mountain at hyperspeed to get your walk in 3 minutes.
Oh, well, now you're giving me some good ideas. You did this to yourself.
But we do know that Ubisoft loves their stats in games. If you're looking at The Division or Assassin's Creed or The Crew, there's often different customization options, or I don't even want to say the word in related to Steep, but gear score. But they are no strangers to having different tools for different jobs, and I'd be interested to see how they would handle this.
Well, Ubisoft, we know you're listening, so make it happen. Thanks again to Stefan for coming in clutch there over on the Discord right before we sat down to record this week. And now it's your turn. Hop on over to our Discord channel so you can join the conversation. After this goes live, we want to hear from you guys. What do you want to see in the game? What specific snowboards and what specific skis would you like to see added to the game to make those disciplines a little easier on you? You can find our channel link down below in the description. We can't wait to talk to you guys over on Discord. And now I think we should head on over to that weekly challenge where... What? Can you hear that? They're doing the Limbo.
We had 3 different submissions to the Limbo competition. Sir Cholex kicking it off, getting nice and low, even getting a booty drag in the side of the mountain.
And from that cheeky little drag, we hop over to see Lucas with a C just making it under one of those avalanche fences. Those are my favorite things, and when we said we wanted to do a Limbo competition, that's exactly what I had in mind.
And we also had one from Eve Steep Clips, getting nice and low in the air, going underneath, looks like a party banner in Alaska.
Thank you as always to those 3 who submitted for the Limbo weekly challenge. Next week, we will be showing you the submissions we got from Urban, and the following week's submission will be trespassing. Ooh, that's right. We want you to find a place on the mountain where you are not supposed to be, and then be there. Enjoy living on the edge and being a baddie. Oh, and don't forget to take a picture and send it to us. You can do that over on Twitter at Nick or Mitch using the hashtag STEEPCAST, or, as we said in the main topic, on our Discord channel. And now we have just a couple more questions from Stefan to cap out episode 21. Stay tuned. Question and Answers is up next.
First, he asked, lots of games now have green screens. I'm apparently missing that. But do we think it should be implemented into Steep? Absolutely. Every game needs to have a green screen in it. We've been trying to build green screens in Minecraft. We searched hours to try and find one in GTA 5 for some of our old videos. It just needs to be there because people can go wild with them.
I think we're at somewhat of a disadvantage being PlayStation mains. I think computer games have a lot more liberty with what they can add on the back end of their games, like a green screen. I think Rocket League has something similar to that, where you can change how the game looks to get better feelings of what's going on, like a grid format, something like that, that you could, in a replay mode, enter green screen and it just highlights your rider. I think that would be incredible. I mean, just think of the remix videos and think of all of the real life spots that people have filmed and taken pictures of for years, and then just add one of the Steep characters. Sam Berger is going down in Park City, Utah. I know we talked about that last week. Park City has been on my mind. I think that would be a great idea though. I'll tell you one thing, it would make the weekly challenge, the how did I get here, it would make that 10 times easier if you had a green screen and you could just cut your guy out and paste him somewhere else. So, okay, green screen, great idea. What's next?
He asked if there should be different ways to carry your equipment. For example, strapping the snowboard to your back or carrying it under your arm.
I have a lot to say about this, so I'm going to let you go first.
I know this would please the video edit community a bunch because it would help out with those intros and those outros where they could feature their equipment while they're climbing to their spot. I think the more options the better when it comes to something like director mode.
The only way I would ever say yes to something like this is if it was kind of reminiscent of the Death Stranding physics, where if you're carrying your snowboard under your arm and you get to the top of the mountain and you start to go down, your balance is completely thrown off because that right arm that you were carrying your snowboard under is dead. It's tingly, it's just, there's no life in it, you can't control it, it's flailing all about. That's the only way that I think this would be hilarious and a great addition to the game.
I mean, it would make it interesting, but it would make it so much more frustrating if walking around the mountain was like Death Stranding. I think Steep actually does a pretty good job with it, where you can climb up almost any snowy bank. It does take a while, and then you can slide down certain ones if they're steep enough.
In all realness though, yeah, I think it would be cool. It's an addition that doesn't cost anything. It doesn't take anything away. It just adds one more thing for the riders. So sure, let's do it. And finally, Stefan wanted to know if this game was to have a real life skier or snowboarder cameo in the game, like in a story or just in the content, who would you choose? Mitch?
I think we all know the answer to this one. It has to be Tom Wallish.
Yeah, of course. That goes without saying. I mean, we're kind of biased over here, but could you imagine shredding down the mountain with Tom Wallish? What a mountain story. Oh my God.
It would be incredible. But thanks to Stefan for submitting these wonderful questions. Thanks to all you guys for your submissions for this week's episode. Be sure to catch our Knuckle Huck snowboard qualifiers this weekend. We're coming at you Saturday and Sunday, the dreaded doubleheader.
That's right. We'll see you guys on the slopes this Saturday and Sunday. Both videos coming out 1 p.m. Eastern right here on youtube.com/Nick and Mitch. Until then, I'm Nick.
And I'm Mitch.
And we'll see yous on the slopes.